made the difference tonight. No, I think I kept the intensity well throughout the match. She's a very intense player and has really good shots, so I'm really happy with the win. And you also had a lot of fans supporting you here in Linz tonight. A lot of fans from the Philippines, but I heard they actually live in Austria. Some of them are in Vienna, some of them in Linz and Salzburg. What did it mean to you to also have a lot of people cheering for you? It means so much. Hello, MGA Kababayan. Hindi kayo nakala ang dami ninyo dito sa Linz. Pero salamat sa pagsabay sa MGA laban kayo at magkita tayo tomorrow. Yes. Something nobody in the tennis world wants to admit is quietly building right now. And when it finally explodes onto the court, everyone is going to pretend they saw it coming. Music they won't have. Because the way this sports media machine operates, the way it clings music to old narratives and past glories like a life raft, it almost never sees the wave before music it hits. And right now, there is a wave coming with Alexandra Eala's name written all over it. The one place on the internet where we don't dress up lazy analysis in fancy vocabulary and call it expertise. We talk about what's actually happening on the court, what the numbers are actually saying, and what the real story is beneath all the noise. Today, we are going deep on a matchup that the tennis establishment has already made up its mind about. A matchup it has already filed away in the cabinet labeled veteran beats youngster. Check, move on. That matchup is Alex against Leylah Fernandez. Music, and if you've spent any time listening to the traditional commentary around this one, you've already heard the narrative. Fernandez, the seasoned competitor, the girl who shook the entire tennis world at the 2021 US Open, the dangerous counterpuncher with big match experience. And on the other side, Alex, the exciting young Filipino prospect, talented sure, music promising absolutely, but not quite ready, not quite tested, not quite their music yet. That's the story they're selling. Here's the problem. That story is completely disconnected from what the actual tennis tells us. And by the time this match is over, a lot of people are going to be doing some very quiet, very uncomfortable recalculating. Let's start at the beginning, because understanding why Alex is going to take this match apart requires understanding exactly what Leylah Fernandez is and what she isn't. Fernandez is a genuinely brilliant tennis player. Music. That needs to be said clearly and honestly, because what follows isn't about tearing her down. It's about understanding the specific mechanical architecture of her game, and why that architecture has a very particular vulnerability that Alex is almost perfectly designed to exploit. Music. Fernandez built her entire identity around one core principle, taking time away from her opponents. She stands close to the baseline, closer than almost anyone else on tour, and she takes the ball on the rise, early, aggressive, before it has a chance to fully develop. When a player hits a heavy flat ball at her, she doesn't back up and defend. She leans in, absorbs the pace, and redirects it at an angle her opponent simply cannot recover to. It's a remarkable skill. It requires extraordinary hand-eye coordination, elite footwork, and a kind of fearless commitment that very few players in the world have ever managed to sustain at the highest level. The 2021 US Open wasn't a fluke. She genuinely dismantled some of the best players in the world with that exact formula, and the tennis world took notice. But here's what the tennis world conveniently forgot to keep tracking. That formula has conditions, specific, fairly rigid conditions. For Fernandez's timing-based game to function at its peak, she needs a relatively predictable incoming ball. Not necessarily slow, not necessarily weak, but predictable in its trajectory. Flat or close to flat. Something she can read early, set her feet, and redirect before the rally even has a chance to develop. Feed her that kind of ball consistently, and she will make you look like you've never picked up a racket. But change the equation, change the shape, the height, music, the rotation of the ball coming at her, and that elite timing doesn't just get disrupted. It collapses. And this is where Alexandra Eala becomes genuinely terrifying. Alex was trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy, and if you understand anything about what that institution actually produces, you already feel where this is going. The Nadal Academy doesn't just produce good tennis players. It produces players with a very specific physical imprint, players who have been drilled from a young age to generate extreme topspin, to hit with heavy rotation, to make the ball do things that flat hitters simply cannot handle. Nadal himself built an entire career on this exact principle, using topspin as a weapon not just to keep the ball in, but to actively destabilize opponents, to push them back, to kick the ball up above the comfort zone, and force them into positions where their natural game simply doesn't function. Alex carries that exact DNA. When she rips her forehand cross-court with a full swing, the ball doesn't travel in a straight, readable line. It kicks, it grips the court, and it jumps high, often up above shoulder level, sometimes higher. Now picture Leylah Fernandez, who has spent her entire career leaning into the baseline, reading the ball early, taking it on the rise before it reaches its peak. What happens when the ball is still rising at shoulder height? What happens when it's still accelerating upward as she's trying to set her feet and redirect? She can't take it early anymore. She physically cannot stand on the baseline and do what she does when the ball is kicking that aggressively. She has to move. She has to retreat 2 steps, music 3 steps, sometimes more, pushing back behind the baseline just to find a contact point that doesn't put her racket above her head. And the exact moment she retreats, the entire engine of her game stalls. Music, because Fernandez's offense doesn't work from 5 foot behind the baseline. It doesn't work when she's scrambling backward instead of leaning forward. Her ability to redirect pace, to steal time, to pull the trigger early, all of it requires that forward position. Take the position away, and you take music, the weapon, away. Alex isn't just going to beat Fernandez. She's going to make Fernandez's greatest strength irrelevant, and she's going to do it by being exactly who she naturally is. That alone should be enough to make people pay attention. But let's go further. Music, because the tactical picture gets even more interesting when you factor in the serving dynamics of this matchup. One of the less glamorous, but deeply important truths about Leylah Fernandez's game is that her serve is not a weapon. That's not a harsh judgment, it's just a fact. Her first serve is functional, good music, enough to keep opponents honest, but it doesn't generate the kind of free points that elite servers can build a game plan around. And her second serve, the one that really matters under pressure, is genuinely vulnerable. It doesn't have the velocity to push returners off the baseline. It doesn't have the kick to force weak replies. It lands, it sits up, and against an elite returner, it essentially becomes a free invitation to attack. Alex is an elite returner. She reads spin well, she moves efficiently, and she has the timing and the hand speed to step into second serves and take them early. Every single time Fernandez misses her first delivery, music, Alex is going to be standing inside that baseline, weight forward, ready to pull the trigger. She's going to hunt those second serves. Music, she's going to make Fernandez feel the consequences of every first serve miss, and she's going to do it repeatedly and consistently until the pressure of holding serve becomes psychologically unbearable. Meanwhile, on the other end of the court, Alex's serve creates a completely different equation for Fernandez. Alex can generate serious pace and, more importantly, serious kick on her delivery. The same topspin mechanics that make her ground strokes so disruptive translate directly into a serve that bounces awkwardly, kicks into the body, rises above the comfortable return zone. Music. Fernandez thrives when she can plant herself and attack returns. She struggles when the ball is doing something unexpected, something that forces her to adjust mid-motion. Alex's serve is going to force exactly those kinds of adjustments, and every rally that starts with Fernandez off balance is a rally that already favors Alex before the second shot is even hit. When you layer the ground stroke mismatch on top of the serving dynamics, what you start to see is a match where Alex controls the tempo from both ends of the court simultaneously. She controls it from behind the baseline with her topspin ground strokes, pushing Fernandez back. She controls it at the net post with a serve that prevents Fernandez from establishing her return rhythm. Music. There is no phase of this match where Fernandez gets to play her natural game on her own terms. And here is where the conversation shifts from physical and tactical to something even more fundamental, something that casual fans underestimate almost every single time. Tennis is not just played on the court. It is played in the mind, in the gap between shots, in the split seconds where a player either trusts themselves or doesn't. The mental dimension of this matchup is where the real story lives. Leylah Fernandez is a fighter. Her mentality is one of the things that makes her genuinely admirable as a competitor. She does not fold easily. She has been in tight matches, in deciding sets, in pressure moments, and she has found ways to compete. That's real, and it counts for something. But there is a very particular kind of psychological spiral that grips a timing-based player when their timing stops working, and it is unlike any other crisis in tennis. When a power player loses their power, they can slow down, construct points differently by time. When a defensive player loses their legs, they can shorten swings, slice more, manage the rally. But when a timing player loses their timing, there is no fallback. The entire system is built around that one physical truth, the ability to read the ball early and hit it before it develops. When that stops working, when the ball keeps kicking past the comfortable contact zone, when the redirect starts sailing wide or clipping the net, the temptation is to overcompensate, to hit harder to generate your own pace, to swing bigger, to take more risk. And that's where the errors come. That's where the scoreline starts looking lopsided. Because overswinging on a heavy topspin ball is one of the most reliable ways to generate unforced errors in professional tennis. The ball is already coming with weight and rotation. Add extra swing speed, and the margin for error shrinks dramatically. Balls start sailing long. Balls start clipping the tape. Shots that should land comfortably inside the baseline start drifting wide into the tram lines. And each one of those errors feeds the spiral, adds a little more doubt, a little more desperation, a little more noise inside the head. Alex, on the other side of that spiral, is built differently. She has a composure on court that is almost unsettling to watch if you're paying close attention. She doesn't celebrate wildly after winners. She doesn't visibly deflate after errors. She resets. She trusts her training. Music. She goes back to the baseline and executes the same game plan she walked onto the court with point after point.